This felt more like a filler episode than something that needed to be a whole movie. Now, I understand the first one was quite successful, but this one just didn't really have much going on for it. The whole first arc, treasure hunting, and not the interesting kind of treasure hunting where they're looking for like rubies or diamond or power ups or something like this. No, they were literally picking up coins off the floor. Mind this as much if it actually played a bigger part in the actual plot of the movie, like if these coins actually did something, but they don't. As soon as you get past this bit, it's never mentioned again. Aside from that, for the first act, we get a bit of setup and some really pointless fights. There's a boss battle that just feels lackluster. There's like, I don't know what it is. It's like a imp or something stealing weapons. That's all that really happens. That leads on to the second act where the story actually starts. Yes, it actually starts halfway through the movie. Two guilds are set up against each other for the prize of the next boss battle, and Osuna and Klito decide to team up and take on the boss themselves, which is peculiar because like usually the boss battles are done by a whole guild, so for them to go, oh yeah, this is the newest boss, the highest ranking boss, yeah, two of us should be fine. It just seems stupid. So they go on to kind of recruit some of their friends to help. Even though they are getting some of their friends and recruiting people to help, they still take a pretty small party. There's like 7 of them altogether. Best part of this is the reunion between Mito and Osuna. Now, if there's any newcomers watching this movie for the first time, it's going to completely go over their head because their history together is not explained at all. Like, there is a few flashbacks, and you're supposed to assume that they have a history together. It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain they're trapped in a game or anything like that. It's peculiar. It truly is peculiar. They kind of have a heart-to-heart, and it's nice to see them kind of having a natural progression from where they were, not talking to each other, from them going to kind of being best friends to somewhat strangers, and then to kind of have Mito trying to find herself in SAO and trying to figure out what kind of person she wants to be. It's odd as well because we're on the 5th boss now, and like the first movie took place on the first boss. So what happened between those two bosses is not explained. We just have to assume that things have just happened and things have progressed, but we literally know nothing. And it does feel a bit weird that that much time has passed without those two talking to each other because they're in the same level. Like, they're not distant whatsoever. They're always on the same level, so I don't quite understand how they didn't bump into each other or at least acknowledge each other. It's odd. Not even speak since. Instead, for the most part, we get this broker girl who is... She isn't interesting. She is more annoying than anything. She does absolutely nothing. And what is with the markings on her face, right? Ironclad had a reflection rule where basically all the characters had to look how they are in real life. And somehow she's got markings on her face that, I don't know if they're supposed to be whiskers or something, but what's up with that? Like, does she look like that in real life, or what's going on there? Her and Asuna have a fight in a sauna with a stick and a banana to kind of add some action to the movie. Yes, because that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted a banana and a stick fight in between the so many interesting bits of this movie. Then, of course, we get the final boss battle at the end. It's really not worth the effort. It's just generic. And we know exactly what's going to happen because there's like no tension here whatsoever. Whereas there was character progression in the previous film. This doesn't have anything. It doesn't open up anything. It's solely focused on Kirito and Osuna, which is fine because they're interesting characters, but it's also a problem because we know exactly where they end up. The fights just don't feel interesting. They feel very lackluster. Aside from the cool dynamic that the Golem boss fight had, with arms and heads just appearing out of the walls and stuff like that, there isn't a whole lot to it. It seemed really dumb at points as well because they activate the boss where there's just 2 of them, right? For some reason. And then when the rest of the group join the party to fight the boss, they don't tell them of all the traps they've already come across and all the dangers in the room. They just wait until they succumb to the traps themselves and start getting damaged, which is just stupid. Then you have the half-assed act with the flag at the end from the boss battle. And the guild comes and they're like, we want the flag. And then they're like, no, you can't have the flag because you've got to share and become one group. It goes as you expect. And like, it doesn't. The thing is with this movie is nothing adds anything. There is no tension in this movie. It is just boring throughout, unfortunately. Then you have the ending, which is the fireworks, and like you're like, okay, that's cool. You know, we got the ending, the fireworks. It didn't feel like it was that long. No. There's more, right? There is more. You have this random guy who comes up behind Osuna and he's like, I'm going to kill her. And then they're like, you can't kill her because this is a safe zone. Okay. And he's like, I've got poison and paralysis on this, but she had a thing. She has like a necklace that gets rid of that. So that wouldn't affect her even if it wasn't the safe zone. Right? So immediately you've just destroyed all of the tension that could have been there. And again, you know exactly what's going to happen to Osuna because we know how the Ironclad arc ends. So I don't get why they keep on going, oh yeah, we're going to kill her, we're going to kill her. Because you're not going to kill her, are you? It's a real shame because, as I said, I really enjoyed the first Progressive movie. I thought it was great. It had a meaningful story to tell. You had Osuna going from someone who needed to be protected to being able to look after herself. And this one just has nothing. There is nothing in this that is interesting. It is just a slog to get through. And that hurts me to say because I love Sword Art Online. I've consumed most of the media there is. And, you know, to have a film that kind of takes that for granted, it just feels like a piss take. I don't know if it was just a cash grab and they're like, oh, the first one did really well. We should make another one. Do we have a story to tell? No, let's just make it anyway.